that kind of stuff. And that's the percussion in the song, is me playing my cheeks.
Hi kids, and welcome to Veggie Tales. I'm Bob the Tomato.
And I'm Larry the Cucumber.
And we're here to answer your questions.
Mike and my wife Lisa and I went into the post house and recorded the very first script, in probably April or May of 1993. So we started making the first video. I had one computer, it was set up in my spare bedroom, and then I was attempting to literally animate the whole film.
Phil did the math and realized that it was going to be impossible for him to finish it himself.
And I got, if you know the story of the first one, Where's God When I'm Scared, Junior watched the scary monster on TV, runs up the stairs, goes into his room, and slams the door. I'd gotten about that far, and I realized that it would be the end of me to attempt to do this by myself.
He had met a guy, his name is Chris Olson.
He was telling me this idea he had that he was working on that was animated computer vegetables. It sounded very intriguing. I like crazy ideas, and it was so crazy it just might work. Came home that night, and there was a message from Phil saying, "Hey, you want to come work for me full-time starting tomorrow?" So I decided to do that. Of course, starting the next day meant that I had to build out the entire first studio because I happen to know how to drywall.
Phil did a little more math and realized that even with the two of them, they weren't going to be able to finish the animation. And so then they hired Robert Ellis.
My wife said, no, they can't work in our spare bedroom around the clock. So we rented a storefront. This is on the north side of Chicago, Foster Avenue in Damon. And it was a teeny little 600 square foot room, basically. It was in between a Spanish grocery store and a comic book shop. And we set up our one computer and we put up blinds so that people couldn't see right behind the plate glass window that there was a $70,000 animation workstation. And then the three of us triple shifted, on this one computer around the clock to try to get the show done on time. And we also, at this point, were trying to sell the videos ourselves, so we'd taken out ads in Christian magazines and had set up an 800 number in the office.
So really, as you're working, you're getting calls every hour or every half hour from people who are interested and want to learn more about it and want to talk to us, or you're typing away, you're using your mouse, you're animating the show as they're buying it, which it keeps you in touch with your audience.
In our ads, we had promised Christmas delivery. So we had to make Christmas delivery or we'd actually be guilty of mail fraud in addition to our business failing. And we finished the video, I think the last 3 weekends. We attempted to work on it all weekend without sleep.
Toward the end, we were doing this around the clock.
It got to the point where first I was staying one night, then I was staying 2 nights, then about a week later, you'd run home just to take a shower to hop back into work.
We would crawl off into the corner, sleep for a couple hours, and get up and do it again.
Then finally, the final rush, we got everything to tape that we could. They took the edit system. We still had to finish editing it, so we brought all the rendered frames in the actual computer itself to a new edit company, and we're laying everything off. We hadn't slept now for 5 or 6 days.
We finally got everything laid off to a master tape, and we rushed it off to the duplicator and then slept for 2 days while he duplicated.
2 days later, we got the copies back. We all got together in the office and stuffed them into envelopes and put the mailing addresses on them and then loaded them up into the back of Robert Ellis's station wagon and drove down to the Central Post Office in Chicago and got them all out. And about half the people got theirs 2 days before Christmas, and the other half got theirs the day after Christmas. But the first video went out.
We succeeded. We nearly killed ourselves, but we actually got it done.
We sold 500 copies of the first video, which did not even pay for the ads we'd taken out in magazines, much less the production of the video. But some of the Christian publishers and Christian music companies were among the first people to order the video on our 800 number with their credit cards. So right after Christmas, when the first videos came out, Word Music flew Lisa and I down to Nashville, put us up in a hotel, took us out to dinner, and we'd been starving, we were starving actually right about then. So by the time it was done 5 months later, we had a 12 video deal with Word, which brought in some money so we could actually pay people and buy another computer and really get going and see where it would go. The team that we put together, which kind of evolved, friends, wives, people at church that we just kind of picked at random. It was just an amazingly tight little group of 5 or 6 people that were turning out half-an-hour films, every 4 to 5 months that were unlike anything anybody else had ever seen before.
No.
At first, all I knew I wanted to do was change the world. I just wanted to be part of the solution. I wanted to tell stories that would make the world a better place and that would help people.
Doing VeggieTales was nothing I would ever have dreamt that I would be doing. Making a show with vegetables. I mean, nobody grows up thinking they're going to be a cucumber. But as we started to formulate the idea of the show, as things started to come together, it started to become clear to me that this, what I felt called to do in my life, this was the perfect opportunity to do it. And I wanted to do it because I thought it was going to help kids, and I thought it was going to help families, and that's what I wanted my life to be about.
One thing that really grabbed me was Phil really setting the bar high for whatever we did at Big Idea. It was clear from the start that he didn't want to just make a kid's video, maybe make a little money, but he truly wanted to change the world. And so be it that it was Talking Vegetables to do it.
There is one who is watching you. He listens when you pray. And though it seems this time you won't get through, God has made a way.
We hear just a lot of appreciation from parents. Just thank you for giving us a series and a group of characters that can help me pass these types of values along to my kids.
I remember in the early days when we'd get fan mail, there was just this box of letters that would get sent to us, just sitting underneath somebody's desk. And sometimes I'd be working late at the office. I'd be writing music and nobody else would be around and I need a little break. So I just pull that box into my office and just start leafing through fan letters. And it struck me, this is why we're doing what we're doing, because so many times we're isolated from that. We don't hear a person after a video saying, oh, that really touched me, my kids loved it. We don't know who it's reaching at times, but to see these letters, people took time to write letters or to draw pictures. This one letter that still sticks out, a boy wrote it, like a 9-year-old boy, and he was telling about his younger brother who had an ongoing illness, and he was always in the doctor's office, and he could hear his younger brother singing God is Bigger Than the Boogeyman, that song, to help him overcome his fears. And he took the time to write this, and I had it posted on my wall for a while, because I thought, that's why we're doing this.
Come over here, Junior. What do you see up there?
My curtains!
No, out the window, up in the sky.
I see lots of stars.
God made all those stars out of nothing. He just went, and there they were.
There was a period of time when the best way to communicate the gospel was through the spoken word and the preaching of the word. And I think that's still valid today. But I think that in the era in which we live, the apologetic for the gospel is the arts. It's storytelling. Jesus told parables, and I think those are the things that really captivated people and captivated their imagination for understanding a little bit more about what he's talking about, what the real meaning is. And so stories are one of the best ways that we have to engage people with the truth of the gospel.
So what we're trying to do is figure out how you can take ideas and images that are beneficial and make them appealing. And that's much, much, much harder. It's much easier to give kids what they want. It's hard to give kids what they need. But that's what we're committed to, and the media business is the perfect way to reach kids where they are on a daily basis with good values.
Well, your mother and I think that show was a little too scary for you. I do think we should be a little more careful about what we watch on television.
I think anyone who tells stories to kids has a huge responsibility. Plato wrote, "Shall we just carelessly allow children to hear any casual tales which may be devised by casual people, and to receive into their heads ideas for the most part the exact opposite of those which we could wish them to have when they are grown?" He was very worried, and this is back in the 4th century BC, that storytellers were greatly affecting kids by casually telling tales. Casual people telling casual tales. And that's exactly how, if he was alive today, he would be looking at the modern media business and saying, does anybody care about the impact of the stories they're telling? And I think just as doctors have to take an oath that says, above all else, do no harm. I think directors and producers, everyone who's involved in the selling of ideas, should take that same oath. And yes, just making a kid laugh is great, but look for the values messages that are coming behind the entertainment. Because it's very easy, even inadvertently, to send negative values messages, to casually and carelessly tell a tale that will give kids ideas we would not wish them to have when they are grown up. And that's the responsibility we feel at Big Idea, is how can we use the medium to make a difference, to be completely beneficial.